what's one or two things that people can consider applying into their life in the week ahead to get them to stop being on the same hamster wheel, to stop believing an old story or focusing their thoughts on the past? Is it listening to a frequency? Is it putting a tuning fork on them at a certain frequency? Is it a sound that they can make? But what are some things that they can actually do to stop being in the past or playing the story and just be in the present, or even think about the positive future that they create?
Well, the first step towards changing anything is awareness. So start catching yourself, start watching the stories that you're telling yourself. Just start becoming aware of some of the absurdity that you might be indulging in. That's really the first step, is sort of stepping back and widening the lens and being like, oh, well, that's a story and that's a story and that's a false belief. And I'm just spouting off a whole lot of nonsense that's contrary to where I want to be, where I actually need to be, right? So that's one. Another is that people get really hijacked by guilt, shame, and the inner critic. And most people have an inner critic that's unkind, that's rude, that's mean, that's punitive, that's entropic. And if that voice was a person outside of you saying those things to you, you wouldn't stand for it. You'd be like, that's really inappropriate. Please don't do that. And yet somehow we've all been programmed and blinded to allow that dialogue to run in ourselves. Right? So I often suggest converting the critic into a coach. Like, the critic wants you to be the best version of yourself. Its delivery just sucks. So why not have a coach? It's like, hey, next time, try to remember to not do that and do this instead, right? So changing the tone of that inner dialogue from criticism to constructivity. Let's just be constructive and kind with yourself. That's just a really good place to start.
It actually seems extremely doable. So thank you. That's a good one. If somebody wants to learn more about what we're talking about today, you have two books out, Tuning the Human, Biofield, and Electric Body, Electric Health. If people are just getting into this, which one should they start with?
Well, Tuning Human Biofield is a cosmological shift. What it does is, we all grew up in a world of solid, liquid, and gas. And in order for biofield tuning to make sense, in order for me to even introduce the idea of using the tuning forks to you, I have to educate you about plasma and ether. I have to educate you, because all you learned about was syntropy and gravity. I've got to educate you about entropy, about syntropy, right? As the opposite of entropy. And levity, like sound waves fall upwards. We live in a cosmological story of darkness, of dissipation, and it's depressing, right? Our cosmological story is very depressing. And so I've got to introduce you to the cosmology of light and connection, because that's the truth of the nature of our reality. So you've got to change your entire cosmological story before I even start talking about how to use the tuning forks in your biofield. Because I can do this work on you at a distance. Well, in a world of solid, liquid, and gas, that doesn't work. But when we throw in ether, it does, right? So we were intentionally not educated about the illuminated connective states of matter that inform who we are and how we relate to the world around us. So I go very in depth into that whole big picture. And then there's one simple chapter on how to use the forks in the field, because it's really simple. And I don't need to write a whole book on how to do biofield tuning, because it's simple as can be. Electric Body, Electric Health goes more into the depth of the biofield anatomy and my mapping of it, and relating different ailments in different areas to different underlying states of mind. So I'd maybe start with the first one and then move on to the second one.